What's up, guys? Ice Dog here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Diablo and how it affects relationships. And how it has affected Ice Boy's relationships as well. Alright? I think it all goes back to when Ice Boy was, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, 14 years old. I don't even fucking remember. Somewhere in that range. There's Diablo 1. And my boy introduced that game to me, and I made mention of that in my last video. So, since that day, I was hooked on the game, alright? I thought it was toad as fuck. So I played it a lot. And I had a couple dogs back in that day, alright? One of my dogs lived down the street. The other of my dogs lived the other way down the street. One of my dogs lived a little ways away, but he would ride his bike over to my house and shit. So, I remember when I was really into Diablo. Sometimes my boys, they would all get together, right? They'd be 3 or 4 of them sometimes, and they'd come ringing at the doorbell. And I'd be in the basement playing Diablo. There were many of time of which, I hate to admit this shit, it's embarrassing as fuck, but I didn't answer the fucking door. Alright? I wanted to play Diablo. I mean, my boys, you know, we get together, we hang out on our bikes and shit, we go to the park, we talk, you know, but there was something about, in those days, about playing Diablo that I just really found enthralling, and I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. Shit, there were several times where, say, my mommy came downstairs saying, "Ice Boy, your friends are here." And I was like, "Tell them I'm busy," or something. I don't know what I would do. But at that point, I knew I was caught. I was fucked. Sometimes they just get let in, all right? Like, I had a couple siblings, all right? And a few of which were younger than me. And sometimes, say, my brother, right? Just let him in. So I'd be downstairs playing Diablo, and my boys come running up behind me. It was fucking bullshit. I didn't invite him in. All right, I was in the middle of a fucking rut. So they'd like sit at my side. I mean, I feel like sometimes it was a bit of a mockery, all right? Because they were sick of that shit. And yeah, maybe I was a little bitch for putting up with it. Probably was, to some extent. Not to say I was a little bitch, though, because I wasn't. But it was a combative situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had many. It was kind of uncertain and shit. It was just. It had a weird dynamic about it. All right, this whole Ice Boy playing Diablo, putting his boys off, and then his boys coming over. You know, I'm not saying Ice Boy was a little bitch. I don't think that was the case. It's just I knew I was caught, and I was embarrassed over it. All right, I mean, I thought it was fucked up too. I was playing this game like a motherfucker. So they'd come behind me and they'd be like, "Oh, what you doing? Still playing Diablo?" Like, "Hey, why don't you come out? Let's go to the park or something." You know, is what these guys would say. And oftentimes I would concede to such, but oftentimes I wouldn't. I remember there were a few occasions where I'd just I was kind of frustrated, you know what I'm saying? How they just come over and be let in, and I just wanted to play Diablo. So I just sat there and fucking played. And they'd be like, there weren't smartphones and shit, so I don't know what they'd be doing. They'd just be tinkering around. And if I recall a few occasions where I do that, and sometimes they just leave. This is fucked up to talk about, all right? I mean, I'm embarrassed about it. Even still, like, I hope none of my old dogs would see the video and think, you know, that I was is kind of fucked up. Because yeah, like I said, looking back, maybe I should have gotten out a little bit more in those days. I don't know. I mean, I got out a lot, but when I was into Diablo, I would really put off my boys. You know what I'm saying? And I would even put off bitches sometimes too. In fact, I'd probably do that quite a bit. Because there was a Iceman as well. In these days of my youth. Now, I wasn't an expert with the Iceman. My dogs and I, we would go on the internet and read about the game and shit. You know, how to entice Iceman. So, and we'd converse about that shit when we get together. And we found results in it. Like, there was a day when we were, you know, early teens and we couldn't get bitches. I don't know how else to say it. But then, a couple of years in, we started reading the shit about playing the game, and all of a sudden, we were able to, you know, we were able to get women, right? Get girlfriends and shit. And I was like, holy fuck, this shit works. But yeah, nonetheless, none of us were experts, of course. This is all new territory. But from all that, I did attain a girlfriend or two. And I recall days where, and this is when I was driving, all right? I had a girlfriend, bring her over, and a lot of the time, I'd be fucking playing Diablo, all right? It's fucked up. Like I said, there weren't smartphones and shit. I think we had the TV on often. So the Iceman would watch the TV and Iceboy would be on Diablo. So how did that affect the relationship? I don't know. There was an instance where the relationship lasted quite a while, for you know, late teen years. All right, but it must have tarnished it some, I would guess. Of course, there's always a balance, but just kind of falling into limbo, just playing Diablo all the fucking time when your women's over, you know, there might be a bit of a problem with that. Now, all things in moderation, of course. Like, maybe if I played Diablo, maybe on, you know, Saturdays or something when the women was over, or Saturday evening or something, maybe that would have been okay. And maybe another weekday or two in between, I don't know. But just in those days where there wasn't much other productivity going on in Iceboy's life, maybe that was kind of fucked up, thinking about it. But who really cares? I mean, because that, of course, ended. But Diablo 3 came out, and I played the shit out of that as well. And there was another Iceman in Iceboy's life in those days. And I did spend a lot of time on Diablo 3. Probably partly because I was just getting a little... You know how sometimes where you just kind of... You want to try something else in life, you know what I'm saying? Like you're with somebody, but you're kind of... There's just a lot of opportunities out there, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of what was going on. So I was like, well, I don't really want to do anything too fucking stupid right now, so I guess I'll just sit here and play Diablo 3. And I mean, it was a big fucking game when it came out. But there was that. And it can inhibit relationship, obviously, if you're not careful. But of course, in those days, I kind of wanted it to. And it kind of did. So I guess I got just what I wanted. It worked out just fine in that regard. But yeah, man, I'm curious what you guys have to say. Like, how has Diablo affected your relationships? And I'm curious, how has it affected your relationships with your dogs? Let me know in the comments below. And I'm talking way back when you was a little duck, and to your teenage years and shit, and to now. All right? How has it affected your relationships with your boys? I mean, obviously, there are some boys, well, we get friends playing Diablo as well. And some of our real-life friends play Diablo. But what I found is it's often not the case where they'll be as serious about it as you are, right? they'll be playing other games, and here you are, you know, 5, 10, 15 fucking years later, you're playing the same game. And they've moved on like 15 years ago. So there's that. But also, how has Diablo affected your relationship with Venom? Let me know in the comments below. I mean, maybe some of you guys could argue a case where it has positively affected it. I don't know. And I know I kind of pointed out negative aspects of it, but it's not entirely to say that it's all negative, all right? Like I said, all things in moderation. I mean, it's a pastime, right? It's a hobby and shit for many. So kind of like watching TV or playing golf or something, only you're sitting on your ass. But, you know, it's kind of similar to those sort of things. Or playing chess or something, right? So, like, it could go both ways, I think. There could be positive and negative effects. But I'm just curious to hear how has it affected your relationship. So let me know in the comments below. And I would say that in modern times for Ice Dog, because I am with the women, and most of you guys know that who know me or watch my videos, all right? But it's a different dynamic going on in these days with my Venom. And I think it's partly because I decided to make the video while playing Diablo, right? So the video has created a great way for me to justify playing it. Of course, you know, a couple years back, I didn't make the video, and I was playing games, all right? And I was playing Diablo 3 a couple years back, and then I started playing Diablo 2. Then maybe 6 months into Diablo 2 is when I started making the video. I don't remember exactly how it went, but the Venom, you know, didn't mind anyway. I mean, as long as I wasn't, because it worked out okay. I don't think I let it inhibit, you know, productivity to a great extent in terms of paying the bills and shit, right? But the Venom, I think, has been supportive of it, and it has worked out quite well. And of course, I go off and on. I try to stagger out my videos when the ladder resets and stuff like that, so I can take breaks, and it works out quite well. But yeah, I think the Venom is pretty supportive of it. Like I said, especially after I started making the video, and I am able to monetize it some, and there are a lot of you guys who contribute via Patreon. So thank you guys for supporting me through Patreon. Like I said, and here's my list of patrons. So thank you guys. This is partly, I think, why it's worked out really well in the relationship, because, you know, it's kind of something to look up to. Like I'm having a damn good time, can entertain, which I've always liked. All right. Maybe I don't really care to open up about it too much, but I've always liked to entertain. And this gives me the opportunity to play Diablo, which I want to do, to entertain, which I want to do, and to make some shekels, which I want to do as well, you see? So those three things coupled together is fucking told. So that must be what it is the Venom knows that I like to entertain. And I'd probably, maybe she gets sick of me trying to entertain her, just like in the kitchen and shit, you know, or just when we're out and about, just, you know, just talking and, you know, just verbally, you know what I'm saying? Just entertaining and stuff like that, or acting shit out or whatever. So maybe that's part of what it was. But the Venom, like I said, knows that I like to entertain. And so I think there's that, and then the Venom sees that it helps pay some bills. So there's that. So it works out just fine in these days. And the same can be said for my past, where I wasn't paying many bills at all, and I was just playing Diablo. You know what I'm saying? If I were able to manage both, just paying the bills and playing Diablo, there might be benefit in that. Because here's the thing. If you get into Diablo, even if you don't have it monetized, which, you know, most folks don't, obviously, here's what it can help you with in terms of the bills. Is you're spending less time going to the bar and shit, or whatever you do for pastime activities. Spending less time probably going out to eat, going to the movies, and blowing money on shit you don't really need. You know, I mean, a lot of dogs, they just keep buying the latest games and shit. They're on Xbox, or they'll get into hobbies. Like I'm kind of into audio, home audio, but the problem is the sky's the limit when it comes to how much money you could blow on that shit. And right now, the place I'm in is I look at the shit that I bought and I'm like, why the fuck did I buy all this shit? It's like, this shit's a waste of money. Like I got a big ass subwoofer, big ass speakers, and I watch a movie like twice a year. This is fucking bullshit. So I hope I don't blow any more money on audio equipment. If you guys could, I wouldn't mind if you help keep me accountable. I don't think I will. You know, the only thing I've bought for audio in the last 4 years. In 4 years, I bought a pair of speakers that were $750. And I bought 2 subwoofers, all right? And I kind of regret that shit because I don't really use them that much. But I got one of the subwoofers is in the garage and it's a sealed box, SBS. Hits fucking hard. So I could be working out in the gym and I get them beats. So that's okay. But could I justify, justify $900 some dollars? I probably should have just settled with what I had. All right, I feel like a fucking dumbass for buying that shit. I'll be honest. But yeah, that's the thing. If you're into this game, you don't have to pay it month to month. So it can help when you're managing your free time and your hobbies. It can save you money, I think, as well. So that's another benefit about it. You're not, if you can play this game and enjoy it. And there's Diablo 2 Resurrected coming out, which is going to be $40, but once you pay that, you're good, I believe, for Battle.net. You're not going to have to pay month to month with Battle.net. So that being said, you're going to save money on what you otherwise could be spending it on, just going out and wasting it on shit. So there's benefit in that, I think, as well. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys have to say. How has Diablo affected your relationships with your boys and with your bandit? And has it saved you money, do you think? Let me know in the comments, because I think there could be many cases where it has, and I know it has for me. Because in the past, even before I made the videos and had it monetized, I would just look at my habits, right? So there were a couple of months where I just didn't really know what to do. I'd go out and blow money on things and on my free time. And I'd spend a lot more than I probably should have. But then on the increments in time where I was playing Diablo, I didn't spend money on shit. And even now, like I expect when the ladder resets, I'm not going to be thinking about, I need another fucking audio equipment, even though I don't think I'm going to think that again, because that is just fucking bullshit. I need to not buy that shit anymore. All right, the audio stuff is done. I got the theater, I got the stereo upstairs, I'm done with that fucking bullshit. I got the stereo in the garage, in the gym, with the subwoofer I didn't really need, so all that bullshit's done. But there's other things I could spend the money on. Like I could buy dumb shit I kind of been into boomsticks a little bit lately, all right? So I got some boomsticks and, all the things that come with those. And that's one of those things you could just keep buying more and more and more and more of that shit, Yeah, boomsticks is one of them. Or if you want to start tricking out your car, put a cool bumper on your car, could put a little roof rack and shit on your car. Help get the leather sewed up a little bit, or get the paint on the side. It's just a never fucking ending. It's a gold sink. All right. And Diablo 2 doesn't really have much of a gold sink. World of Warcraft does. A lot of games do, but Diablo 2 doesn't have much of a gold sink. Just a side note, but it maybe helps get us into that mentality where you can just save the fucking money. Because that's what you do in Diablo, you just save the fucking money. See? Without even trying, I have 200,000 gold. But I mean, in an hour I could have millions of gold, right? In 10 minutes I could have millions of gold. It just doesn't fucking matter. Maybe it helps get us into that mindset. But yeah, that's the thing is even nowadays, like when the ladder resets in a couple days, I'll be playing Diablo. And during that time, like I said, I'm not going to be thinking about all this bullshit that I don't need. So let me know if you dogs can relate to that. See, this is a positive attribute about it. Like I said, it's a thin fucking line you're walking, because all things in moderation. You gotta, be able to still obviously stay productive, and just have this in your free time. And I think it can be a benefit in that way. And plus, you have something to look forward to. If you have to go to work or whatever, you can be there, and it can be a good passing of time to just contemplate your character, contemplate your next move. And if you're sitting on your fucking ass playing it 24/7, it loses its appeal quite quickly. So it's kind of like, a carrot on a stick, kind of fucked up, but that's just how life is, right? Anticipation. Like I like to say, Diablo 2 is about the journey and not the destination. So don't rush yourself there, dog. So if you can only play a couple hours a day, as far as I see it, that can be a really good thing. Because you can prolong this journey, which is what it's all about. I mean, a lot of us has experienced it back in the day. The bots come in, they drop down all the GG gear, you get your character really high, you have all the best fucking things, there's nothing left to find. It's game over. It's not fun anymore. It lost all of its appeal and all of its allure. So what's even the point? You gotta move on and try to find something else to entertain you. Such is life, dog. The same concept can be applied to everything. If we was all kings and shit, I don't know if things would be as they seem. Have you guys ever seen Beauty and the Beast? That guy was a prince at the beginning, and he probably had a lot of bitches, and he had a lot of things. He had a big ass castle and shit, and he had silver and gold and shit, and all the desirable things of the age. And he took it all for granted, dog, and he got fucked. He turned into some ugly ass beast, and he didn't have shit. He was in rags. All right, I mean, he still lived in that castle though, right? But he lost all the majesty and shit. So it was a coming up the mountain again, a coming of age and shit, where he found that balance, you know what I'm saying, to maintain. So that balance here is, like I said, it's not just spoiling the fuck out of yourself with the pleasure, right? It's limiting the pleasure. It's rewarding yourself with the pleasure. And fuck, I gotta listen to this shit. Because when the ladder resets, I'm going to be playing like a motherfucker. And I don't know how much reward-based system I'm going to be, disciplining myself to. Because I might not. Might just play my ass off. And now I'm going to exercise, all right? I'm going to exercise. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to stay productive in other ways outside of Diablo and the videos. So I will use it as a reward-based system to some extent. But to what extent, I do not know. So if you dogs will help keep me accountable in this way, all right? So yeah, but let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this stuff, and how has Diablo affected your relationships? And do you use it as a rewards-based system? And do you see even potential benefit in playing Diablo? Like some of the things that I touched on here. Let me know in the comments below. And if you dogs will like the damn video, become a patron if you want. Thank you to my patrons, and may your finances be blessed, all of you of which are a patron of Ice Boys, and all future patrons. May your finances be blessed, may your health be well, and may you have many wives. Peace be with you.